Hi everyone, Ryan Ratliff here from Mad River Outfitters, and thank you for joining us for this week's fly tying tips, where we're going to teach you everything you need to know about tying your own flies. Thanks for joining us for this week's fly tying tips. Remember to tune in every Wednesday about 3 p.m. Eastern or so, and we're going to have a new video out. My name's Ryan Ratliff, and this week we're going to talk about 3 different ways to create weight with lead wire on your flies. So we call this lead wire, this is actually lead-free wire, tin. It's made out of tin, but it's kind of one of those things. It's not actually lead, so it's lead-free, but we always call it lead wire. So you might catch me calling it lead wire, but it isn't actually lead. Just for those that are concerned about me touching lead. I was going to pretend and put it through my lips and straighten it out, but this is great choice for especially the lead-free. If you are wanting to tie a bunch of nymphs and you are fishing out west, some places do not allow lead, so that might be a good choice to switch to a lead-free wire when you're tying some nymphs, so you don't have to keep track of it. Just tie them all with lead-free. But it's not as dense as actual lead wire, so just kind of side note. All right, so this is just a regular size 8 nymph style hook that's in the vise. This would be something that I could potentially, this style of lead, putting lead on the hook, would be, I could use this for doing streamers, like little woolly buggers. It'd be the same thing. You can also use this for nymphs. Typically with your nymph, the front part of the hook, where the thorax would be, is a little bit fatter than back in the back section of it. Just like a minnow kind of gets bigger towards the head. So we would want the lead wire to be there. There's multiple different ways to do this. You could put it in a bobbin, which is very handy to wrap on there. You can also just keep it on the spool. You pull it tight and it won't come loose like regular wire for tying ribs and stuff like that. So what I like to do, I like to get just a little bit of it like this, and I like to wrap it around the hook shank. There's no thread here, so I'm just going to wrap around, and typically what I'm going to do is around 8 wraps or so, could be 10. This is a little bit lighter, so I might go more. Once I get to this point where I got that little tag wrapped around, I'm going to kind of compress it together, and I kind of memorize how fat I want this to be. Also kind of thinking about the structure of the fly. At this point, I can just hold on to it and break it. I could cut it. I could do lots of things, but if I want a little bit more, then the easiest thing to do is just to pinch those coils of the wire on the hook, and I pull towards me and then spin it. Pull towards me and spin it. It's kind of like ratcheting, and I'm just creating a few more wraps on there. The other thing that I can do is I can just twist it, but it doesn't seem like it wants to spin all the time. So this ratcheting technique is super helpful. Once I get the amount of lead that I want on there, or wire I want on there, I'm going to hold on to the whole bundle so it doesn't spin and just pull. It just pops right off. It's nice and soft, so it breaks on its own. Now, when you are setting up for the nymph, even the woolly bugger, you don't want to shove it up to the eye of the hook, because that won't give you enough space to tie off the fly, do your whip finish and all the different things. So you want to come back, and you want it to be at least 1 hook eye length, if not a couple more. The farther back you go with your lead, the more it's going to have a tendency to want to flip over and go upside down. So just a side note there too. But typically we'll go like that. That is your typical base for a nymph or a woolly bugger. You would quickly just tie a few wraps in the front, and this is how I like to do it. I will hold the tag of my thread clear in the back, and I'll do just 2 or 3 wraps all the way over. You can notice my tag is right there. And then I'm just going to wrap kind of behind it. I want to create a little dam, and then just space out my wraps real light. I don't want it to sit down inside the wraps of the coils of the lead. So back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, just to cover it up like that. You can hit it with glue if you wanted to, not really that important. So that is your basic setup for wrapping lead around the hook. I'm going to show you two more techniques. These ones are kind of the same thing. They're a lot quicker.
And now, a message from our sponsor. Nobody. Over the past 30 years here at Mad River Outfitters, we've built up what we think is an amazing fly selection. From freshwater to saltwater and everything in between. We think it's one of the best fly departments on the internet. Wonderful images, wonderful descriptions. Remember that we don't have sponsors here at Mad River Outfitters, and you all use flies. So maybe think about hopping over to Mad River Outfitters, picking up a few flies, because a little bit goes a long way to support Mad River Outfitters and our YouTube channel. So now back to the video.
Let's say I want a nymph that's going to be really wide. I want to have a lot of weight, but I don't want to build up the weight so it fills up the hook gap. I want it to be wide. So I'm going to take, this is actually 035 lead. It's a little bit fatter wire here. And I'm going to wrap it the same exact way as I did before. Get a couple wraps in there, start it around, then I just take my fingers and just kind of spread it around. Then do that ratcheting technique where I twist and pull down at the same time to get the lead on there. And then it's a little bit fatter, so you got to pull a little bit harder. And then at this point, what I want it to do, I don't want it to be too fat, but I want it to be flatter on the top and bottom. So just like everybody should be carrying a pair of Loon Apex pliers on their hip, I'm going to take this, and with the smooth, flat portion of the jaws, I am going to smash this wire flat. Notice that it is more flat on the top and bottom, but it doesn't create extra bulk. That is a great way to create that fatter, flatter version of a stonefly, especially the big ones out west. So start the thread and wrap over top of that just the same exact way that gets you really good foundation. We'll also do this for some carp flies. Again, we'll push it kind of maybe towards the back or fill the whole thing up with it, and then it will want to flip over a little bit better. So that's one way to do it. A lot quicker that way, but when you go to tie it, it wants to spin a little bit. A little more complicated way to do it, but it is also a way to make your fly very, very sturdy, especially when you're adding lots of different things on top of the fly. Wing casings, rubber legs, all that type of stuff. Put another hook in the vise, and this time I'm actually going to get a little thread base down. Just real quick like that. You can make it look prettier if you care to, but now I'm going to take the lead like this, and I'm going to turn it so it's kind of laying off, pointed off the top of the spool. I'm going to make sure I don't go right up to the eye, come back one hook eye length. I'm just going to give it a couple wraps around. Notice that it wants to slide around on the hook. Give it a couple more spaced out wraps, and I'm going to pull it up on the side. Going to hold it there, maybe use my finger to push it up, and the thread tension is going to keep it on that side. Just use those spaced out wraps. Those spaced out wraps like that grip a little bit tighter and more even over the whole place, or the whole hook shank there. So there's one, and then at this point, this is when you would actually come and cut this wire. You can pre-cut this if you want to. I have found that just holding that little tiny piece of lead is a little bit harder to manage. So put that piece in, then I'm going to repeat the same process, but on my side of the hook, spaced out wraps, just to get it on there, and then set it in place. Give it some more wraps, set that wire in place, and then I'll turn it up on the side so you can see it once I get it set. That little end that you just cut off on that lead is going to be a little bit sharp. Not super sharp, but just a little bit. So go easy when you wrap that. And then I'm going to create a little bit of a ramp to the back end of that. And then you can see what we got going on here. So there is it for the side view. And now you can see on the top and bottom view, a lot fatter. Basically, I just put a lead strip on either side of the hook to create it nice and wide. It takes a little bit more time than just smashing it with pliers, but it's going to be really tied in. It's going to have a really good base, and it's not going to want to twist on you while you're tying in. So those are 3 simple ways to add weight to a nymph, potentially even a streamer, other types of things that you might want to do weight and you don't want to create bulk per se, or you want to have a big wider platform. So you like that type of stuff, you want to see more options with adding weight in different parts of the fly, leave a comment below. I'd love to talk about that. That is a real important thing so the fly does what you want it to. Also, make sure you hit that like button and give me a call at the shop. I'd love to hear anything, any ideas or problems or different things that you might have with adding weight to your flies. Thanks for joining us this week, and we'll see you next time.